Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, flu is starting to hit a peak here in the Crossroads. Here are the latest numbers from a local hospital. And the Salvation Army reveals its kettlebell donation numbers and how the donations from the holiday season will be used. And federal officials join the search for a missing college student, the latest on search efforts.
Well, it finally feels like December for only a couple of days, though, because we're going to warm up as we get to the weekend. But tonight, overcast, getting down to about 40 degrees. That wind is still out of the north, and a few sprinkles are possible, but I wouldn't call it heavy rain. We'll take a good look at your 7-day forecast coming up in a moment.
And we have high school basketball back here in the Crossroads to highlight some of today's tournaments and some final scores later on in sports.
Now at 6. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Trenton Whiting in for Dawn Brubaker and Shauna Curry. The Salvation Army of Victoria's Red Kettle campaign plays a huge role in helping the community throughout the year. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley talked with Kenny Jones. Ray joins us to share what he learned about the results of this year's campaign. Ray?
Yes, Trenton. Captain Kenny Jones says the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign raised over $49,000 this holiday season. That money will provide programs this next year, including groceries for the community. But Captain Jones says it'll probably provide for about 3 months. It's close to the usual amount collected and more than last year. Captain Jones says he'll work as hard as he can to make it stretch even farther and provide for the needs of the Victoria community.
Myself, I only see myself as a worker. I don't see myself as anything other than part of this team. And I try not to ever gauge personally, you know, according to what we're taking in or how things are going. I try not to gauge that, you know, personally as a failure or a success.
Captain Jones says he's grateful for the community support, emphasizing being actively involved in Victoria is a top priority for the Salvation Army's mission. And the results of the Guns and Hoses campaign that was a battle between the Victoria Police and Fire to collect red kettle donations. The police department raised over $1,030 to the fire department's $840. The police department also won the past 2 years. Trenton?
Thank you, Ray. Now to the urgent search for a 19-year-old college student last seen on Christmas Eve outside her home in San Antonio. ABC's Faith Abube has the details.
This morning, the FBI joining the hunt to find missing Texas college student Camila Mendoza Olmos, the 19-year-old last seen in this surveillance camera footage near her car outside her house near San Antonio. That video taken around 7 a.m. Christmas Eve morning. Police say she was rummaging through her car wearing pajama shorts, a hoodie, and running shoes. Moments later, the footage ends.
We do believe that she's still in imminent danger.
2 hours later, her mother realized she was missing after she spotted her iPhone on her bed with the battery missing and called police.
Knowing that she was gone and her phone was still there, it was just very unusual, and that's why we genuinely have no clue what to think.
Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar saying she recently had a breakup, but it's believed to have been mutual.
We're certainly not taking anything for granted. Boots on the ground, coupled with the technology searches that we're doing, we believe we're covering all bases.
The people of Bexar County joining police, sending out teams of 20 with search and rescue experience.
We've been searching on foot within a 3-mile radius. We don't have a single clue.
Overnight in San Antonio, friends and family of Camila Mendoza Olmos praying for answers. Meanwhile, her family isn't giving up hope.
Oh, devastating. It made her real hard. Please come home. Daddy's missing.
Authorities are working to contain a massive sulfuric acid spill in Channelview near Houston after a chemical leak early Saturday morning. Authorities say about 1 million gallons spilled when a catwalk collapsed and broke a 6-inch supply line at a BWC Terminals facility. Most of the chemicals flowed into a containment area, but crews confirmed some reached the Houston Ship Channel. Hazmat teams are monitoring air and water quality while cleanup efforts are ongoing. Officials say there are no evacuations and no reported impacts to aquatic life. Now, extreme weather is slamming much of the country and causing major travel chaos during this busy holiday season. A major winter storm is heading east, putting millions on alert for dangerous rain, snow, and ice. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest from Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey.
For
From heavy rain, snow, and high winds, millions of Americans are on alert for extreme winter weather during the height of holiday travel. A blizzard warning in effect across parts of Michigan. Heavy snow and wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour slamming the region. In Iowa, a 14-car pileup on I-35 in near whiteout conditions.
Zero visibility.
In Minnesota, drivers also navigating treacherous roadways.
You're really going to see a lot of this light snow blowing around and really creating some visibility problems.
First responders in Freeborn County so overwhelmed by weather-related road incidents, Governor Tim Walz activating the National Guard to help support emergency response. The powerful storm system first hitting the Plain States and now moving into the Northeast. Yesterday, more than 8,000 flight delays and over 1,300 canceled flights across the country. The TSA expecting 2.9 million people to travel home from the holidays and to New Year's celebrations.
And as we look ahead to the rest of the week, we could see yet another round of snow here in the Northeast on New Year's Eve, which could unfortunately mean even more travel issues. At Newark Airport in New Jersey, Rena Roy, ABC News.
So it won't get nearly that cold here, but it's definitely a little chilly outside right now. Well, maybe Chief Meteorologist McClovia Perez can give us some more information on the cold weather and maybe when it'll stop.
I mean, Trenton, how was your Christmas day? Was it? Were you in t-shirts, flip-flops?
Absolutely. I was in t-shirts, shorts. I was very warm, actually.
now we got 2 days of winter weather here in the Crossroads. We actually have a few sprinkles that are beginning to show up. Now, this is very light activity, but it is showing up on Doppler radar. There's Victoria. You can see it right about there. Nothing significant out there, and most of it is moving offshore. You go up the road and you go to Midland, Odessa, and yeah, it's actually snowing up there. They're looking for 1 to 3 inches of snow in this little band right about there. I don't know. It's a good 8-hour drive. But we'll talk more about what to expect for the next couple of days, because by the time we get to New Year's Day, it's going to be warm again. All that coming up in just a moment. Back to you, Trenton.
Well, that colder weather and these fluctuating temperatures here in the Crossroads are leading to a peak in flu season here locally. Respiratory illnesses like flu, COVID, and RSV hit their peak during the winter months, and cold weather and low humidity allows those illnesses to travel easier. Experts also say the cold weather pushes people indoors where illnesses travel a lot faster. A report from DTAR Hospital in Victoria is showing a peak in respiratory illness cases as the air has fluctuated between warm and cold temperatures. It shows 266 cases of flu at both the hospital and walk-in clinic, 172 cases of strep, and 26 cases of RSV just in December. There were 51 more cases of flu and 38 more cases of strep just this past weekend. And those numbers don't include people who stay home to manage their symptoms. Dr. Mark Gonzalez from DTAR Healthcare System says the ideal time to get vaccinated is late September and October when flu season begins, but it's not too late to receive a vaccine.
Temperature fluctuations can significantly influence how the flu transmits and overall contribute to the increased number of cases, especially at this time where more people are off. The temperatures fluctuate more, you would expect to see higher cases. And this is seen nationally. And even nationally right now during the season, I believe there have been about roughly 1,900 deaths and 49,000 hospitalizations. So
Dr. Gonzalez says symptoms to these illnesses like fever, cough, and fatigue should be taken seriously, saying, quote, patients assume they can ride it out, but these illnesses can escalate quickly. Experts say to seek care in an emergency and to take preventative measures as the cold weather lingers. The Trump administration announced first-year funding amounts for a new rural health transformation program. States will receive between about $145 million and $281 million each. The program totals $50 billion over 5 years. Half the money is divided evenly among states, while the rest is awarded through a point-based system. About 20% of that discretionary funding depends on states agreeing to certain Trump administration policy actions, drawing criticism from opponents. States will be reevaluated each year, and funding could be pulled back if requirements aren't met. And in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott announced we will get more than $1.4 billion of that federal funding. It's a historic investment over 5 years to improve rural health care throughout the state. The state will use a competitive process to allocate funds. Qualified applicants are eligible to apply for funding in the spring. The state considers 9 hospitals in the Crossroads as rural hospitals, including Cuero Community Hospital and Memorial Medical Center in Port Lavaca. The Rural Health Transformation Program is part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Now, the new year is meant for fresh starts, not tragedy, but drunk driving can turn a celebration into a nightmare. Mark Kelly with the Billy T. Catan Recovery Center says alcohol often gives drivers a false sense of confidence. They may feel fine to drive, but judgment and reaction time are already impaired. During last year's New Year's holiday in Texas, there were 147 alcohol-related crashes, killing 9 people and seriously injuring 24 others. The message is simple. If you've been drinking, don't drive, make a plan, and get home safely.
If you're going out and having drinks for the holiday, please have a plan. Get an Uber or a Lyft and do not get behind the wheel even if you've just had one drink. It is easy to underestimate how much you've had to drink, and it really doesn't take that much to put you over the legal limit.
Law enforcement is taking a zero-tolerance policy. If you decide to go ahead and take their free ride to jail, you'll face immediate license suspension along with some further jail time, fines, and more for a first offense. Well, if you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a man accused of planting pipe bombs at the Capitol confesses to the crime. And President Trump holds a series of meetings at Mar-a-Lago, this time with focus on Israel. Welcome back. A Virginia man charged with planting 2 pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. the night before the January 6th Capitol riot has confessed. Court papers say Brian J. Cole Jr. initially denied it, but later admitted to authorities he felt obligated to speak up after suspecting the 2020 election had been tampered with. Investigators say surveillance images show him in a hooded sweatshirt carrying a backpack helped secure his confession. Cole was arrested earlier this month. A driver led Texas DPS troopers on a high-speed pursuit along US 83 in Webb County. The driver and a passenger bailed out of the vehicle and tried to swim across the Rio Grande into Mexico. The passenger, Brenda Castro of Laredo, jumped into the river with her infant child but swam back to the U.S. where she was arrested. The driver, Castro's husband, fled into Mexico. Troopers later located 5 people here illegally inside the vehicle and turned them over to Border Patrol. Castro was charged with 5 counts of human smuggling and endangering a child. Just 10 days after fighting in a highly publicized boxing match, British boxing champion Anthony Joshua is recovering after being involved in a deadly car crash in Nigeria. Authorities say Joshua sustained minor bruising in Monday's crash. However, 2 other occupants in the vehicle with him, including the driver, were killed. A video showing Joshua rescued from the wreckage has been circulating on social media. Joshua is a former world heavyweight champion. He was born to Nigerian parents near London and has stayed connected to his roots. Now, President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are scheduled to meet face-to-face today at Mar-a-Lago. It comes amid fragile moments in the Middle East. The delicate ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is holding. Now, Iran's president claims his country is at war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe. Perry Russum is in Washington.
A high-stakes meeting today at Mar-a-Lago. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meeting face-to-face as Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian says his country is in a full-scale war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe, claiming all 3 do not want Iran to stand on its own feet. Netanyahu this morning meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Tension between Israel and Iran has been simmering since the attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities over the summer. Back in June, Israel and Iran exchanging attacks before the U.S. got involved. President Trump ordering the attack on 3 nuclear facilities in Iran using bunker buster bombs. At first, Trump claimed the facilities had been destroyed, but U.S. intelligence now believes Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium and its centrifuges were not eliminated. Iran's president says his military is now stronger than it was during that attack. Israel's delicate ceasefire in Gaza is expected to be another major topic for Trump and Netanyahu to discuss. The ceasefire is broadly holding. It's still in its first of 3 proposed phases. Details of the second phase have not yet been agreed to. Even with the ceasefire, there have been sporadic attacks between Israel and Hamas. Israel is also carrying out strikes in Lebanon. The IDF says they are attacking terrorists. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
We are looking at Doppler radar, and you can see while we have a little light rain activity in our area, we're looking at actually snow occurring out in far west Texas. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. I know, let's see, Christmas, we were in the 80s. We were out there in the warm weather, and then all of a sudden the cold wind blew in, and right now we're at a chilly 45 degrees. Of course, the winds were making the cold air feel bad. It's down to 15 miles an hour, but we were at 40 miles an hour last night. Our high today occurred, it's kind of upside down, it occurred at midnight. Then the front came in, and then our low today, 45, actually was occurring at about 5 o'clock this afternoon. So, yeah, it's interesting how that works out. But these temperatures are a lot closer to where we're supposed to be this time of year. The thing is, it's only going to last 2 days, and then we warm up as we get into the New Year's Day. Notice the blue here. Those are the northwest winds that have slowed down because also, you got to remember the wind is running into friction with the trees and the buildings and all that. But once it gets out over the open water, it actually speeds up. That's why the winds are in red here, which means that they're in excess of 30 miles an hour. As I mentioned, there are a few sprinkles around the area, but the interesting stuff that tonight, I don't know, you might consider driving to Midland, Odessa, but they're getting a little bit of snow there this evening. Here's the sprinkle activity that's occurring. This is very light stuff, but it will get your windshield wet and maybe the roadways wet. But this should only last for a couple of hours, and then tomorrow we're going to see sun. But if you go up I-10, you can see right about here. Here's Sonora, here's San Angelo. They're getting a little bit of snow activity right about there. Midland is expecting anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow to accumulate overnight as this pattern continues. But as I mentioned, by tomorrow, all this cloud deck is going to be blowing away, and then we're going to be looking at warming weather over the next couple of days. While we're at 45 right about now, they're in the 30s right there, perfect for that little snow development. Actually, it's going to be heavier snow in southwest, southeast New Mexico, up there toward Carlsbad Caverns and those areas. Those mountains are going to be getting a little bit heavier snow activity. But while, yes, it is chilly, look at tomorrow, 57. And then Wednesday, 65. And then New Year's Day, 76. And then 80 degrees on Friday, and then by the time we get to early next week, I do expect another front to finally move in and possibly bring us a better shot at rain. Here's the cloud deck that's over us. We're going from Monday night into Tuesday. You can see how there's a little bit of a thinning out, and definitely by Tuesday afternoon we're going to be looking at sunshine as the cloud deck blows away, and then all of a sudden we get back to mild weather, a lot milder than what has been for today and what it will be for tomorrow. As we get into the latter part of the well, let's see, early next week, you can see that storm on the west coast of the United States. So that's the one that's going to maybe bring us a better shot at getting a little rain activity, but that's not for 7 days, so we're not going to worry about it right now. The only thing to worry about with that storm on the west coast, it may bring rain to the Rose Parade on New Year's Day, and it never rains for the Rose Parade. I don't know what's going to happen. Overnight, we're looking at about 44 in Port Lavaca, up to 57 tomorrow with sun, and up to about 58 in Cuero with sun. So as we get past the cold, brutal winter of 2 days, then we're going to get up to 76 on New Year's Day, a little bit of a warming trend for the weekend, and then there's that Pacific front that comes through on Monday, hopefully with a little cooler weather and a little rain chance. We'll wait and see for that. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Trenton, back to you.
Well, we got some winter weather, but that means some winter sports. So I'll go ahead and give it to Sports Director Max Williams to maybe share some of that winter sports he went and got.
Yeah, Trent, can we just have it to Friday, like Max saying? We're getting 83 degrees, and we have to deal today with 55 degrees. So it was a little bit chilly outside, but it didn't stop me and for high school soccer to playing today. So we'll get the highlights for that and some scores next in sports. Good evening, Crossroads. Now, every high school still on their winter break, but multiple basketball teams are playing in tournament play or regular season action, getting ready to start up district play in January. We're going to start first with the Mike Smith Classic for boys basketball, hosted by Victoria West, and the Warriors started the tournament, but they would lose to Brenham in the first game 61-53. They currently are facing St. Pius X, that is currently going on right now, so see if they can get to 1-1 least going into day 2. As for Victoria East, they faced Goliad and won 68-53, and they also lost to Edinburgh earlier in the day, so 1-1, but in that game against Goliad, Lawson Brown led the way with 19 points. Then out there for Goliad, they are 0-2 after also losing to Brenham 64-45. So day 2 action for this tournament. All 3 of these teams will conclude there tomorrow at West High School. Order of Furial girls basketball, they opened district play versus Kennedy, and they got a 49-31 victory. Now the Lady Cats are 1-1 overall, 15-6 overall, and they're going to be back facing Pettis in district action Friday nights. Now over Industrial girls basketball, they're out there in Tolosa Midway in Corpus area facing the Poth Pirates in game 1. They lost this one 50-31, but they won the other game, so they're 1-1 overall going into day 2 action tomorrow afternoon. Some quick other scores for Tidehaven Tigerettes. They are out there in the Brazos Sport Invitational. They were actually 2-0 today. They won 61-48 in game 1. They just finished up and won 54-51 in game 2. Now Faith Academy, a team that's been very well as well. Boys basketball, fortunately their winning streak came to a close today. They came in 17-2, officially 17-4 overall with their losses 61-43 and then 56-54. Looking to get back on track there later on in the week. Now we got high school soccer, where today officially opened the first day of high school soccer all across the state of Texas. And Victoria West boys soccer faced United South boys team out there at Memorial Stadium, and West started off fast, getting a free kick goal in the first half to take the lead, and after that they would not look back from there. And officially now they're going to be back in action on the road facing a San Antonio team in the Southside Cardinals. That'll be Friday afternoon. Now Victoria East girls soccer played earlier as well, Memorial Stadium, and they played Gonzales and they won this one 2-0. Carolina Ramirez and McKenna Schubolt got both of the scores there, and shout out to their goalkeeper Lydia Traxler, recorded a shutout with 6 saves at total there. So the Titans, they're going to be back in action in the Blue Bell Invitational Friday and Saturday at Brenham High School. And finally, San Antonio Spurs look to keep their winning streak alive versus the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight at the Frost Bank Center. The game will start at 7 p.m. And also the Houston Rockets, seeing if they can get back, keeping their pace up there, facing the Indiana Pacers also at 7 p.m. in the Toyota Center. And I'll do it here in sports. Trenton, back to you.
Thank you, Max. Well, we're back in a moment. That's when we'll tell you all about a South Texas Holiday Light Show that is still open through the weekend. All right, well, if you're still in the Christmas spirit, the Sugarland Holiday Lights runs through January 4th. This event offers a variety of activities and entertainment for the entire family. Constellation Field is transformed with a $3.5 million dazzling lights, a 40-foot light-up tree, and a 9-hole mini golf course, carnival, ice rink. It's just to name a few things that you can do at this light event.
I was going to say.
I actually went to a previous iteration of this, and I don't know if it was the same, but it had a big castle.
Do you walk on the field or what?
Yeah, absolutely. You walk out into the fields, you got all these events, all these lights to look at, and like they said, it's up till January. Look at that kid.
Little ice rinks
really funny.
Ice skating in t-shirts.
Yeah,
noticed that.
because it's not going to get cold enough for ice
Mac,
here.
You know, that's just...
Only in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Folks, tomorrow we're looking for the skies to clear up, and we may have a little light rain overnight, but nothing significant. Tomorrow you'll see the sun, and after a cold morning, it'll get up to about 57.
Whew, so it's warming up. But thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us tonight for 25 News Now at 10.